Welcome to this tutorial. My name is Rohan. This is week 6, question number 3, and let's dive right in. The question reads that a company selling glass ornaments by mail order expects from previous history that 16% of the ornaments it ships will break in shipping. You purchase 2 ornaments as a gift and have them shipped separately, and this is going to be very important. They're shipped separately to 2 different addresses. What is the probability that they both arrive safely, and what did you assume? Now, there are 2 multiplicative rules for probability, and the difference comes about if we consider the 2 events to be independent or dependent. The multiplicative rule states that if A and B are independent events, then the probability of A and B is the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. Now, the general multiplicative rule states that for any 2 events, A and B, and this one being general means that it can be applied for dependent probabilities. So what that means is the probability of A and B is the probability of A times the probability of B given A. So this is when you have events that are not independent, you can use this. It also works if the events are independent, but it pretty much simplifies itself to this. Because if they are independent, the probability of B given A, since A and B are independent, this expression is identical to this expression, which is the definition of independence. Because if B has no bearing, or if A has no bearing on B, then this probability of B given A will be equal to the probability of B. So I'm hoping that that is clear. So with this, we need to start with what we are going to assume so we know which of these rules to use. Now, absolutely, since we are shipping to different addresses and it's 2 independent shipping, we're going to assume that the probabilities are independent for the 2. So moving right along, if we look at the first ornament and the second ornament as 2 different events, then we will consider them to be independent. The probability of the thing breaking in shipping is going to be 1 minus the probability of a successful shipping is going to be 1 minus the probability that the ornament breaks. So if we were to do that quickly in Excel, the probability of success in this case was given as 0.16. Probability of failure is therefore 1 minus, and the probability of the 2 events is going to be the product, since the 2 events have the same probability. So continuing here, probability of 2 parcels safely arriving is going to be the probability of 1 safely arriving times the probability of the other, and that's similar to this, except that the 2 situations are the same. So the probability is 0.71. Alright, so that's basically the probability that both arrive independently and are safe. It would be a little different if they were related, but in this case, based on shipping being separate and addresses being separate, it is a clear assumption. And be careful with this. What did you assume? If you made an incorrect assumption, but through this video or through reading you recognize that the assumption was incorrect, do not answer this, the word assume here can be read to mean that you did something incorrectly. And that's not what we're trying to find out. We're trying to find out what did you assume in order to come up with the correct answer. And in this case, the assumption is that the probabilities are independent.